Taurovenator, Meraxes gigas, and Mapusaurus. Could all these mega theropods have actually coexisted and lived together? Hey everyone, Mike here with Prehistoric Magazine. Now, before we get into this video, definitely appreciate you being here. If you enjoy this type of content, I'd love for you to check out some of my prehistoric thriller books down in the comments section down below. They're books with teeth, claws, and people getting eaten. So if you're looking for a good monster read, love to have you check one out down in the comments section down below. They really help to support this channel. Now, back to the topic of this video. Meraxes gigas, Mapusaurus, and Taurovenator. Could all three of these megatheropods, all three of these animals classify as megatheropods, about 5 tons or more in weight, could they have actually all coexisted together? Now, this is kind of a fascinating topic because over the years, since the early 2000s, I've always been fascinated by Ernst Stromer, German paleontologist, discovered Spinosaurus, North Africa, and he formed what was called Stromer's riddle. This idea of how could all these giant carnivorous dinosaurs have been living in the exact same point in time at the exact same place? Bachariosaurus, Carcharodontosaurus, Spinosaurus, host of other animals. So that formed Stromer's riddle. Now, if you go to Argentina, late Cretaceous, it's possible that these animals could have coexisted. Now, it's also possible that they didn't either. There are some that believe that Meraxes is found in older rocks than Mapusaurus or Taurovenator. But in asking around and in prepping for this video, there does remain the possibility that all three could have coexisted. Again, if not, then this whole video is invalid. But for the purpose of this video, I'd like to explore the idea that maybe, just maybe, at some point in time, all three of these very, very large carnivorous dinosaurs lived together. Now, that was so, how did they necessarily do it? Now, in terms of size, it appears that Mapusaurus is the largest at about 7,000 kilos. Looks like Taurovenator could be second at about 6,000 kilos and Meraxes at about 5,000 kilos. Now, size estimates are always very difficult, and different YouTube videos and different sources that I ask always estimate different. So if you know these animals to be different sizes, love to hear you chime in down in the comments section down below. But nonetheless, 3 animals weighing 10,000 pounds or more would have been fascinating if that actually went down. And, this idea of many large predators living in and around each other is not new to science. Just think about the Serengeti in Africa. You have leopards, lions, you have the painted dogs, hyenas. You have 4 carnivores living in close proximity together and all exploiting probably different food niches and just making use of what's there. Now, upon first glance, you may say that's not a great example because, those are smaller animals. The painted dog is 50 pounds. Although if you get a chance, Google painted dog, and they are the most ravenous animals I've ever seen. But nonetheless, 50 pounds, and we're talking about 3 animals that weighed at least 10,000 pounds or more. So it's a little bit more of an extreme example, but that's what the prehistoric past was. Extremely extreme, to put it bluntly. But nonetheless, could these 3 animals have actually been coexisting? Now, in the Winkle Formation of late Cretaceous Argentina, there seems to be about 6 sauropods. Now, again, in prepping for this video, the main key that I take away from asking a lot of sources is that obviously the fossil record remains incomplete. We do not have all the animals, or probably even anywhere close to all the animals that existed in these formations. So there were other dinosaurs that would have potentially fed these animals, but there appears to be about 6 sauropods in this Winkle Formation, which is kind of incredible, which was a semi-arid, humid place. And, there would have been water and it would have evaporated from time to time. So rains come, water builds up, evaporates again. So meaning that these sauropods, these animals, are probably traveling from water source to water source, constantly, always on the move, kind of like we see in Prehistoric Planet with some of the sauropods, in the Asia one, in the Mongolian desert, Gobi Desert, we see the sauropods on the move because there is a big water source that just formed. So I kind of envision that's what this Winkle Formation would have been like in Argentina. But nonetheless, the animals are always moving around. And there was 2 really big sauropods from that formation. Argentinosaurus at potentially 80 to 90 tons at busting gory titan. It's kind of a cool name, busting gory titan. Do not necessarily know how much it weighed, but it was big. Was it as big as Argentinosaurus? No. It was a giant sauropod nonetheless. And there are about 4 other sauropods that are in between 15 to 20 meters in length. So there's 6 sauropods. You know, maybe that alone would have been enough to sustain these 3 huge carnivorous dinosaurs. Now think to yourself, if there were 3 of these carnivorous dinosaurs in the same area, we also would have had juveniles, would have had infants. So you would have had many different stages of life hunting different animals. Possibly the juveniles of some of these theropods may have hunted other animals, you know, and the adults may have tackled the sauropods. Again, there are sauropods in the 15 to 20 ton range. They're big animals nonetheless, but I don't think that, you know, when you're a full grown adult at 15 meters, I don't necessarily think that that puts you impervious to attack. Now, Argentinosaurus, busting gory titan, if those animals were full grown, probably hard to imagine them being taken down. But again, there's 4 medium-sized sauropods and a host of other animals that are not fossilized that we don't know about. There were crocodiles. Again, there were water sources. So there was a lot of other animals. And again, I'm just curious to see from you all, this is really a speculative video. What do we think about this? Do we think that these 3 animals, if they did coexist together, could they have lived together? 3 enormous mega theropods living together. It would have been fascinating to think about. It's really what gets my gears churning, what inspires me to keep making these videos, inspires me to keep publishing Prehistoric magazine. And I'm curious what you all have to think on it. Do we think that these 3 animals could have coexisted and lived together and occupied maybe not necessarily different food niches, but do we think there would have been enough sauropods to sustain them all? So look forward to hearing from you all down in the comments section down below. Really appreciate all the support for this channel. And if you get a chance, love to have you check out one of my books. So take care. See you in the next video. Take care.